We are preparing the Bach Musical Offering Project with the Princeton Symphony Orchestra. This was your idea. Can you tell us how you came up with this idea of having the orchestra perform these works?
Hello, Nell. So good to see you here virtually on Zoom. I'm so excited about this project, and I must say that this was the product of our COVID-19 confinement during the past summer, when all of us were trying to figure out how exactly we could make music a little bit closer to people's life, and at the same time, not only offer performances, but a little bit of insight about the complexities, the ingenuity of the composers, the even like in this case, looking at the music as sort of a very high skilled type of a craft that is full of mystery, of discovery, of sometimes intrigue. So musical offering came to me as one of those perfect pieces that I would uh, tend to call a musicological thriller, when there is, of course, these two characters, both of them very interesting, Johann Sebastian Bach on one end and Frederick the Great of Prussia on the other end, both of them incredibly cultural for their time and musically literate and sort of like challenging each other with of creating something that, uh, in my opinion, has not been paralleled in music ever since. And of course, Bach as being one of the greatest craftsmen in music, created something absolutely extraordinary. But what amazes me about this piece is how approachable it is, that you could approach it learning an instrument and having played only for a few months, and you could approach it from a point of view of a professional musician, when you could kind of appreciate not only the music but also the structure of it. So I thought, what a perfect piece this is to teach us both about music being something very much for the senses, something very emotional, and to which we could personally relate to, but on the other hand, to teach us about music as mathematics and engineering and something that has to stand on its own in order to function. And this is what I think we find in this work. And I am so excited that we embarked on this with under your incredible guidance and energy to put this entire project together with so many of our musicians, and also your student of the YLCJ. And I think that these four installments that we are to witness this spring are going to be very interesting discoveries, not only for the viewers, but for the people that participated in recording them.
I'm curious, during this time in the pandemic, has Bach's music played a kind of a role in your life?
Of course, I have a piano at home here, and unfortunately, for a very long period of time, this was my only contact with a physical musical instrument. Of course, because we as conductors, and I'm sure you know that very well, we don't necessarily need to replicate the musical score, because we could hear the music in our head as we are reading it. But I did use this time to get back to the piano and try to recover whatever form I could accomplish at this stage of my life, because I used to play piano very well. And I would say that one of my regular diet during the pandemic was the Well-Tempered Clavier, the two books by Bach, the Beethoven 32 sonatas for piano, the preludes by Debussy, a lot of sonatas by Schubert, and also, of course, a lot of score reading. But during that time, I decided that it's finally time for me to program one of Bach's major vocal instrumental works. So I'm hoping that next season, with one of my orchestras, I will be able to do one of Bach's Passions.
Oh,
So finally, I think that at age of 56, I think I would dare to touch this incredible piece, both in terms of size, but most importantly, in terms of ideas, depth, and how meaningful it is, and what an essence this is of not only of the story uh, of from the Bible, but also of that has united the humanity on so many different levels. Something that I think a lot of people could relate to. So that's the role that Bach played in my life in the last almost year. So I'm very privileged that the musical offering could be also one of these ideas that we are obviously doing in Princeton this year.
Wonderful. Well, I look forward to the passion. I'm
I,
hoping that
I hope so too. Yeah, let's hope that we could have the ability to gather singers on stage at the same time. And one other thing about Bach that always has fascinated me, that he was teaching his own kids. And a lot of the works that he composed was basically educational pieces that they were for his sons and daughters to just get better pianists or keyboardists at the time, or better musicians, or to understand how everything works, or to become simply better craftsmen. And he was obviously an incredible teacher, because many of his children became professional composers, and it's one of the biggest sort of a generational composer name that exists in history of music. So that aspect was also interesting to me, because I think it's extremely interesting, and probably a lot of our parents could relate to that. If you are at home now because of the pandemic, and then you obviously have to somehow fill the time of your children and and teach them various things. And in the case of Bach, he will be there teaching on the top of everything that he was responsible doing his children.
it is astonishing. Yeah. And doing a very good job.
Obviously.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Rossen.
Well, thank you, Nell, for putting all your heart and passion into this project. I am so grateful for everything that you do for the Princeton Symphony, and I could not wait to follow the four installments of the musical offering projects later this year.
Thank you.